Good morning and welcome to our Nature Trek moth trap. Normally this moth trap forms part of our open day, which we run on the first Friday of every month here at our Mingledown barn offices in Hampshire. Normally the barn behind me is a hive of activity as guests are coming in to have their booked appointments with our wildlife travel experts. We run guided wildlife walks across our grounds, and there's plenty of tea, coffee and cakes of course, and for those who arrive early for our moth trap, there are even bacon sandwiches. Now, sadly we can't do this at the moment of course, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to bring our moth trap virtually online for you to enjoy from your living room at home. I'm Sarah Frost, Nature Trek's marketing manager, and I'm joining our operations team member Dave Shute, who is a moth expert, and he's going to go through our moth trap with us this morning. So Dave, this is our moth trap, and last night the weather wasn't fantastic for catching moths. It was cold, it was a bit windy, and it actually rained a little bit as well. So we're not hugely optimistic, but we're going to see what we can get in the trap anyway. Do you want to open it and have a look? Yeah.
So just before we start, this is a Robinson trap. So there's different types of moth traps, and the Robinson trap is a drum, a black sort of drum with a perspex lid, and then we have the light sitting on top, which is a mercury vapour high powered light, which is very bright and should attract the moths in. We don't know why moths are attracted to light, except that we think they navigate by the moon and stars, and a light distracts them and they think it is the moon or a very bright moon, and they come in. And then they whirl around, go inside the funnel here, and then down inside there are lots of egg cartons which give them a rough surface and a hiding place, so they can go in under the egg boxes and they can cling to that, and they're quite happy there, and they will spend the day roosting, as of course they wouldn't fly during the daytime, and then they would fly off in the evening. So we'll see if there's anything in there. Tiny one just flew away. So we'll start with this one, and here we have a moth. This is a marble brown. A little tiny one flew away there. So it's marble brown, and it's the first one I've seen this year. They're an oak specialist, so we have oak woodlands behind us, so it's not a surprise to get that one. It's quite a nice one. Put it there.
Okay, we'll pop that there.
And we'll see if there's anything else. Right, this one in here is typically a very common one at this time of year. Can you get that?
Yeah.
So this is called a heart and dart. If you can see in the picture, there is an arrow mark, which is supposed to be the dart, and below it a circular or heart-shaped mark. So some of the names the Victorians gave these moths are really, really quaint, and really nice, very descriptive. So that is a heart dart. Now on this one, there's one on this one, I think, yes, or one large one. Down in there it's a marble miner. There are a group, it's a common moth.
Focus on it. There we go.
It's a common moth, but marble miner is a group of about 4 different moths which are not possible to separate in the field. They could only be reliably identified by dissection, so we're not going to do that. And moth recorders accept the epithet of just marble miner aggregate, and we can send those records in. Whoa.
Man overboard.
Yeah.
Lost an empty egg box, that's alright.
Right, down in here, we should say at this point there are something like 900 species of macro moth. They're called macro moths because they're the larger ones, and there are over 2,000 tiny micro moths which are specialists moths. Even I don't do a lot of those, but if I've got a lot of time and they're very distinctive. I try and identify them, but most people concentrate on the 900 macro moths, and this is the ideal field guide to macro moths. So that's got the 900 odd species in it, and it's by Waring and Townsend. Very good purchase if you're interested. In here we've got a common swift moth, that little brown one in there.
That one there. Okay.
So that's a very common, just there's nothing on the other side now. It's a very common meadow moth, and as last night we set the trap in our orchard, we would expect to catch something like that. Sorry.
There we go, just try and focus on it.
So that's common swift moth.
Common swift moth, right. I've got this one trembling now, it's warming up, wanting to think about going.
Yeah.
And they do this, don't they, Dave, so that they can warm up their muscles and get ready for flight?
They do, yeah. Their muscles, when they're cold, they need to vibrate the muscles so they can escape by flying. Yeah. Normally, if they sit still on the egg boxes, the key here is not to release them in the daylight or in the sunlight, so that birds can catch them. You've got a slight responsibility if you've trapped them to put them safely somewhere. So what we normally do is hide them in vegetation, bushes and shrubs, or failing that, we could keep it till the evening and then open it and release them then. This one has got 2 heart and darts on it again. It's a very common moth.
Yeah, so we've seen that one already, but this is actually a slightly better view. The other one was in a more in a shadow of a depression before.
This is a very worn moth in there, but it is a mottled rustic. Oh, down in its
yeah, now we can see it.
I think did it fall over? No, it's alright.
No, it's alright. A mottled rustic.
There's nothing on that one. And there is another heart and dart there.
Okay.
Well, fear everything's going to blow away. Okay, this one is a different one. This is called a flame shoulder.
Oh wow.
It's a common moth again.
Thank you. I'll just take that over
The
here.
whitish sort of stripe down the side, when it was to fly, if it was to fly, that would broaden out and catch the light. I suppose it looks a bit like a sort of flame colour. It's rather pale really, but that's where the name came from. But when it's resting, it more or less tucks that bit away. Hey, one's just flown off.
It's off. And is this a common moth?
Common, yeah.
Yeah.
Very common. 2 more heart and darts. So we're getting quite a few
Lots
of
of
those
heart and
today.
darts, yeah.
It is probably the moth you would most expect at this time. And there's another one. All these moths have a particular season, so we're in the sort of heart and dart season at the moment. They might last for, individual moths probably only last for a week or more, so just over what, but the actual hatching of those may go on for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then they'll fade out and new moths will come in and take over the general. Yeah, right. Oh, we've got a couple of nice one there. This little one down in here is called an orange footman. Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah. Am I right to take the egg box?
Yeah, the other
Do
one's
you
a
need-
different one again, but
Just so I can try and get the focus of it in the camera.
so the footman moths are a little group of about a dozen, different species, and they get their name from, again, Victorian, of the sort of hotel people that take your cases in. You know, they used to dress in a grey uniform,
Yeah.
which gave that group of species a name, but this one being orange doesn't quite fit.
No, I see. No, it doesn't, does it?
But most of the common ones are grey. I mean, that's a common moth, but it's not as common as some.
Right.
But it's the first footman that's usually on the wing in the year. So the others probably come late June, time like that.
Okay.
And the other little one on top there is called a
Yeah.
middle-barred miner. So a bit like the marble miner we saw just now. So it has a sort of solid band across the middle of the wing. Sometimes more marked than others, but you can just about see it there on that one.
Faintly.
And there is another one here which might be slightly more marked, as well as some heart darts. There's one down there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Can see that one.
Nothing on that. Another mottled rustic there. Slightly better marked one. It's never the most beautiful moth. Nothing there. And nothing there. Another heart and dart there. Here we have a slight conundrum. This one here is rather pretty, but it's actually a micro moth, but it's rather large.
Wow. That's
So
very pretty.
It's all down to
So is
which
this
family that they belong to,
A taxonomical conundrum.
and they belong to a family of micro moths. But obviously in that family you get different sizes, and in this one is one of the largest micros that there is. It's a common species, can be found in gardens, and it's easily disturbed during the daytime, so if you've got tall nettles or vegetation in the garden, they sometimes move if you touch them.
The wind is disturbing
They
it
fly
slightly.
out. But it's a pretty little thing.
Yeah.
And here we have a couple of heart and darts again, but we do also have two other things here. The one on top here is one of the wainscots, so they look very straw coloured for camouflage, and this one, which has got a sort of black stripe from the head down the back, is a shoulder striped wainscot, which is not common. I would say it was a slightly more unusual one. Oops. And on the other side here, the plain one, is a Vines rustic. On there.
Oh right, yes. Vines rustic.
Woo!
Which is blowing off.
Blown away again. Yeah. I don't know how to stop
Little
that.
tumbleweed vine rustic. Right.
There's nothing there. Nothing there. One of the joys of moth catching is, of course, you never know what you're going to get, and you can come down some days and you're a bit disappointed there's not much there, and then you come down another day and it's overflowing with species. So it's that's one of the fun, because you might find something amazing in there one day. That's another common swift. It looks like a female, that one. It's much plainer than the one we saw before.
Yes, of course the wind doesn't help when trying to do this, and
No.
when trying to socially distance as well, so there's only two of us here to do this, so we do
Right,
normally
here's-
have a recorder as
Here's a
well.
very common one, but very attractive one. It's the burnished brass. The colour's
Lovely.
particularly brilliant in the sunshine. the green colour really reflects, and
Well,
you might be able to get it in the
let's see
sun.
if we can pop it in the sun then, shall we?
Yes.
And here we have the burnished brass, where you can, in the sunlight, where you can really appreciate the different coloration. Lovely. Yes, thank you, Dave. Right.
Okay. And of course, are you ready?
Yep, yep.
What we all hope to see in a moth trap at this time of year, particularly in this sort of time, May, June, is a hawk moth. And a warm night might well bring one in, and a cold night struggles, but we are lucky and we've got one.
Oh, we got one. Brilliant.
Which is a small elephant hawk
Oh,
moth.
fantastic.
Beautifully coloured, pink with sort of greenish, I suppose you call it, wing markings.
Of olive, yeah.
Olive. There is a large elephant and a small elephant. There are some colour differences. The large elephant has more pink on the wings and stripes on the body, and is larger. And this one is rather nice. I like this one. It's one of my favourite hawk moths. But it is smaller than most hawk moths.
Thank you. We'll try and sit this down so that we can tip this just slightly going to touch. There we go. And we just adjust the focus. There. Now we could carry this
Into the sun.
into the sun, yes, just to get the light a little bit better.
So we're nearly there now, but in here we've got rather nice, I've got two of these, but I don't know if this is the easiest one to look at, but these are white ermine, very common moths and very furry. And there's a white and a buff ermine, and this is the white one obviously. And again, they're very common, and they're one of these moths that will play dead. So if I was to try and move it, it will pretend to. Let's see if I can do that. It doesn't really want to move, does it? But no, it doesn't want to do that. Yeah, there you go. So people think, oh dear, it's died, but it is a defence mechanism to hope that birds and like think, oh, that's just a dead thing. I won't bother eating that because it's probably rotten.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It also helps them to drop to the ground if they were exposed on foliage or something.
Yeah.
So into the last two boxes now, and here we have another species, a new one for the day, is a brown rustic. Not a very exciting one, but it's a different species, common again.
Can't quite see that in the dark, but with the shadows. Right. If I stand here, you can appreciate it a bit better. Yeah.
And in here we have another different one. This is called a treble lines, rather appropriately, because it has three lines.
Yeah, as you can see.
And that has been extremely abundant in the hot weather the last month, but obviously now it's getting to the end of its season, and there's just the one in here.
Right.
And then there's one more in the bottom of the trap on my finger, which is a cetaceous Hebrew character, probably the best name of a moth.
That is a mouthful.
The little black sort of shape on the wings, sort of like half an egg timer, is supposed to resemble a letter in the Hebrew alphabet. And cetaceous, we believe, means hairy or spiny, I think. But
it's interesting. I wonder where that comes from, because it's reminiscent of cetacean. Sort of.
yeah, but it's spelt with an S.
Yes, yeah.
Rather than a C.
Yes.
Something flew off there.
It did.
Right. So that's that, and I think that's it really. Some heart and darts in the bottom. If people are trapping and they get their trap, then it's worth buying a set of different sized pots. These are plastic, you can get them in glass, and then you can pop them in there for a brief time, and it enables you to examine them in the book. So they're good to have. And you can, if they're very lively, it's very warm, you can pop them in a pot in the bottom of the fridge for a while, and it will help calm them down a bit. It won't do them any harm. Don't put them in the freezer, but but in the fridge it's fine. And then you can take them out, examine them more closely, or take a photo, and then let them go after that. So that's it.
Fantastic.
So
well, thank you so
not a
much,
huge
Dave,
number,
and thank you to everyone at home for joining us. And that does conclude our moth trap for today. And we will see you again this time next month. Thank you.